Kevin's house is blown to smithereens in the opening explosion of MobLand's third episode. Afterwards, Harry gets a call from Kevin alerting him that Richie is approaching and his impending arrival. Now that he has located Tommy's body, Harry asks Kevin to meet him near the yard and to bring Eddie along. Richie's dogs arrive at Harry's and threaten him, but because he knows who these two are, he is on speakerphone with Conrad and could completely eliminate them if they try to approach. The dogs will be sufficiently alarmed to remain silent and act as though they haven't seen anything. After that, Harry departs to live with Mike, an old partner. Although Mike is not very thrilled about it, in addition to being an author and sports writer, he is also a vicious gambling addict who owes Harry 30,000 euros. While Harry works to clean up this disaster, Gina and John will remain on Mike's yacht for the time being. Later, down in the yard, Harry joins up with Eddie and Kevin. He shows them Valjean, the club's owner, bound to a chair and battered. They have Tommy's remains as well, and his body is in a horrible state. The owner claims that Eddie requested Valjean to look after Huggy in return for 10,000 euros, but he was also instructed to deliver Tommy and Eddie back to the club together. But by the time Tommy came back, he had been stabbed several times and was dead, and Eddie had vanished from sight. Kevin is furious and approaches his kid while brandishing a taser. Kevin is angry, but it's unclear if he is speaking the truth or not. When Kevin calls Conrad to inform him, Maeve is circling the room. She is the only one who smirks when she learns what has transpired. In reality, she is proud of Eddie's behavior and wants Conrad to agree, but he ends the call to continue the conversation. The two proceed to the sauna, which seems to be where they go to have these kinds of conversation. In the event that the house is bugged, it may also be a means of taking extra measures. They debate how to respond to Richie's predicament. When Conrad intends to arm everyone and target Richie's inner group, Maeve advises pursuing Vron and using her as blackmail. Although it's obvious that things are speeding up significantly, Maeve, who calls herself the White Queen, reiterates that she has always played this game. Amidst of all this, Harry arrives at a care facility where he promised his maid, Maria, that he would assist in finding her mother a comfortable location to spend her remaining years. He puts on the old bribery hat, nevertheless knowing that this will work because he is late for the arranged rendezvous. However, he sees an elderly guy at a table on his way out the door. He is known to Harry as a vicious jail officer who used to abuse him while he was incarcerated. Although Harry doesn't do anything about it, this reflects his problematic past with the law. Regretfully, as he leaves the house, his photos are also taken. The Zeks have arrived to reinforce their men back at the shipyard. However, knowing a certain thing is wrong with Isabella, Kevin is more intrigued by her. Isabella now arranges for her father and Antoine to have a rendezvous. We already know that she is unhappy in her marriage, and Kevin's worries are confirmed when he says that she didn't even bat an eyelid when she was informed about the house explosion. She is obviously trying to negotiate a deal in the background, maybe in order to gain influence, but more importantly, since they still have affection for one another, she intends to pull her dad back. Bella's father's statement, quote, "I can't get you in to see anyone you want for the proper consideration," end of quote, suggests that he is willing to negotiate a covert agreement during the encounter. Bella and Antoine have put up a covert camera to record the entire episode, but he chooses to keep it and create a copy for protection, thereby using blackmail to get Bella to comply. Returning to Harry, he and Kevin appear to be planning Valjean's murder, but they both use an advantageous ploy to subdue him and cooperate in order to rescue his family, in particular, providing them with critical time to develop a more efficient strategy. Eddie reappears to Conrad's palatial residence where he and Serafina are obviously maintaining their affection. Brendan is also present, and while they all talk about Eddie's antics, Maeve enters the room humming and complimenting Eddie. She also launches criticism at Serafina too. However, she fights back by reminding Maeve that she tied the knot into the family so she doesn't seem like she has a place to claim here. Just as things become heated, Conrad and Serafina leave. Although it appears that this all happened a long time ago and Serafina's biological mother is not mentioned, we do have proof of the romance here. It's interesting to note that Maeve was just 16 when she also got impregnated with Brendan. However, Serafina is knee deep in the mess and asks directly if Eddie killed Tommy. She's aware that this is sufficient to get Richie to act and initiate this gang conflict. Harry calls Richie and informs him of Tommy's condition and uses a simple automobile to trick the authorities. The plan is to make Valjean appear to be the fall guy while simultaneously getting the cops off their back. When the cops are sufficiently far away, Kevin, who had already exchanged automobiles with Harry, taunts them. But the police pull up Archie Hammond's remains from a coffin after receiving a confidential complaint about it. Richie is willing to torment Harry to the point of death when he gives him a bloodied Valjean in order to determine whether or not his made up narrative is true. Bella gives Harry a telephone call and takes him to her hotel room. She discloses the blackmail event and acknowledges that she has made a mistake. Although Harry says he will take care of it, he briefly considers kissing her. He doesn't. But once Harry goes, he realizes that things will start to ramp up significantly.